Hello and welcome to this Excel tips video. I'm Sumit Bansal, and in this video I'm going to show you 7 amazing custom number formatting tricks that you can use in your day-to-day work. So let's get started. Before I get into the examples, let me quickly explain what is custom number formatting. In Excel, you can have 4 different types of data. So you can have positive numbers, negative numbers, zeros, and text values. And these are pretty much what you can have. These could be manually entered by you, or these could be a result of a formula. Within positive numbers, you can also have dates and times, because a date and a time value is stored as a number in the backend in Excel. Now for each of these data types, you can also specify a format. So I can specify how I want my positive numbers to show up, or negative numbers to show up, or zero or text values to show up. And that is called custom number formatting, because you can customize the format for each of these data types. Now with this basic understanding of custom number formatting, let's get into the examples. Here I have this data and I want to hide these numbers in the cell. Now, one easy way to do this is you simply select this data, you go to the Home tab, and here in the font group, you change the color and make the color which is same as the background cell color. So in this case, I would make it white and it hides the cell content. But this is not really hiding it, because if I change the background color, you'll see that these numbers are still there. So while it works, let me show you a better way to do this. So let me make the color black again. And in this case, to hide these numbers, I would first select these. I would go to the Home tab, and here in the number group, I would click on this small dialog box launcher. And when I do that, it opens the Format Cells dialog box. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Control-1. So you hold the Control key and press the 1 key, or if you're using Mac, you can use Command-1. Now in this entire video, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-1 to open the Format Cells dialog box. Now within this, I have the number group, and within number group, I have the custom option. And in custom, as of now, it says general, which means that these numbers should show up as numbers. I would change this and I would enter 3 semicolon here. And as soon as I do this and click OK, you can see all these numbers are hidden. Even if you come back here and you change the background color, these numbers would not be visible, because these are literally hidden in these cells. But these are still there. So you can use these cells in calculations, because as you can see in the formula bar, the numbers are still there. So this is a great way to hide if you have, let's say, a dashboard and you have a couple of values that are using in the dashboard, but you don't want to be visible to the user, then you hide it. Now, how does this method work? As I covered, there are 4 parts to the formatting, and in this case, each of these parts are actually separated by a semicolon. So if you talk about general format, then the way Excel sees it is general, semicolon, general, semicolon, general, general, and then general again. So this is how a format is specified in Excel. What I have done is I have removed this part and I've said, I do not want to have any format, which means that I do not even want my numbers to show up. So when I remove all these format, I have only 3 semicolons, and that is what I have used here as the number format. And when I've specified that I do not want any format for the cells, these numbers are completely hidden. Here I have this data, and you can see there are some cells that have the value 0 in it. And I want to hide all the zeros, or I want to replace the 0 with something more meaningful. Maybe I want to have not available written, or just have a dash there. So you can easily do this using custom number formatting. So I would select all these cells. I would hold the Control key and press the 1 key to open the Format Cells dialog box. And here I would go to custom. And in this case, what I need to do is I want to show everything as is. And as of now, you can see that the format here is general, but for 0, I want to change the format. So again, going back to my example here, because I have 4 parts to this format, I would keep the format for positive, negative, and text number as is, but I would change the format for the 0 data type. So I would go back here and hold the Control key, press the 1 key. And in custom, I have general here. So I'll keep it that way. have a semicolon. So I have general as the format for positive numbers. Then I would have general as the format for negative numbers, but I would have nothing for zero. So I would just have two semicolons, and then I can have general for text as well. And now when I click OK, you can see instantly all these zeros are gone. Now it's not that these zeros are not there, they're still in the cell. It's just that the cell is formatted in such a way that these numbers don't show up. Now let's say you don't want these to just go away, you want something more meaningful. You want to have something like not available in these cells. So you can again go back, and here in this format I would have general, then general again, and in the third part which represents the format for 0, I would in double quotes have NA written, and then again have a semicolon in general. And now when I click OK, instead of the 0 value, it shows not available. But the great part here is that while you see NA in the cell value still remains what it was originally. So custom number formatting is not going to change the value of the cell. It is only going to change how that value is displayed to the user. Here I have the names of these students and their scores in the adjacent column. And what I want to do is, instead of showing the score, I want to show whether the student has passed or failed, where they would pass if they've scored more than 35 and fail if they've scored less than 35. Now I can easily do this using a formula in the adjacent column, but let me show you how to do this using custom number formatting. So I would select this range, hold the control key and press the 1 key. And here I would click on custom. Now I need to create a format that would check the value in the cell, and based on that value, it would apply the format. And custom number formatting allows you to do that. So to do that, I would delete whatever is there in the type field and first have square brackets. And within square brackets, I would type the condition. And in this case, my condition is if the score is greater than 35, then I want a certain value to show up instead of the number, and that is the text pass. So I would in double quotes manually type pass here, and then after a semicolon I would have the other thing that I need here. So you can mention this condition as well, that if it's less than 35 then it should be fail, but any number that is not more than 35 would always have a value which is less than 35. So I would simply type fail here. And now when I click OK, see what happens. Instantly it converts these numbers into pass and fail, a text which is more meaningful, but in the backend it still has the number. I can still use these numbers in the calculations. And in case I come back to any of these cells and I change these, for example here it says fail, but if I come back here and change the number from 14 to 74, it would instantly change, assess the value in the cell, and accordingly apply the right format. So if you want your cells to have a number but show up some relevant text, then you can use custom number formatting. The limitation in this case is that it will only work with 2 conditions. If you have more than 2 conditions, then custom number formatting is not going to accept that format. So here I have these dates, and as of now it's shown in the date, month and year format. So in case you have a different regional setting, then this display might be different, but the idea is that it is shown in a format where it has the date, the month and the year values in the date. Now let's see a couple of things that you can do with it. So I would select all these cells, hold the control key and press the 1 key. And here I already have the date format that Excel has applied, and Excel also gives me these different formats that I can use. So I can show, instead of 14/3/2012, I can show 14th March 2012 or all these variations. But I'm going to show you some other things that you can do. So instead of this plain DDMMYYYY format, let's see a couple of things that you can do. So let's say I do not want to show the entire date. I only want to show the month name. So to do that, I would come here and I would type M. When I type M once, it shows me 4, which is the month number. When I type it twice, it shows me the month again in double digit format. So it would be 04 or 10 or 11 for November. But when I type M 3 times, it shows me the short month name. So it says April from the active cell. It has picked up this date, and for this date, it shows me the preview here. And you can see it says APR for this date. And if I type M again, so 4M, then it would show me the entire month name. And if I use this format and click OK, instantly all these dates are actually being shown as the month name. And again, the great thing is that in the backend, they still remain the date that was there earlier. Now let's select these and again hold the control key and press the 1 key. What if I do not want to show just the month, I want to show month and the year? Again, you can do that. So let's say 3-letter month, then a dash, and then the year. So I would type YYY 3 times. And when I do that again, you can see it will show me the month and the year. So this could be useful if you do not want to have the entire date and only show it month wise or only show the year, then this could be quite useful. Another thing you can do is instead of showing the date, you can show the day name. So whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday. So to do that, I would type D here. When I type it once, it shows me the date, which is the actual date here, which is 18th April, so 18. When I type date twice, again, it remains the same because it will just show me 1 would be shown as 01 and 2 would be shown as 02. So it will always be 2 digits. When I have the D 3 times, it shows me WED because this day is a Wednesday. And when I have it 4 times, it shows me the complete day name. And now when I click OK, you can see I have the day names as well. So this could be useful if you're creating a calendar or planning something and you want to quickly know what date and what day is it, then you can use this amazing custom number formatting technique. Here I have these company names and I have their net income numbers, and I want to show the negative numbers in red color. And you can do that using custom number formatting. Now, another way you can use is using conditional formatting. But if all you want to do is show up the negative numbers in red color, then you can also use custom number formatting. So let me show you how to do this. So you select this range, hold the control key, press the 1 key, and here in the number group, click on custom. Now, in this case, we are going to specify a color for the negative number format. So we'll keep everything as general. So we'll have the positive number format as general. For negative number, in square brackets, I would manually type red and then have minus sign and then show general. So which means that as of now, it is shown as a negative number which is shown in black color because I have specified red as the format for any number which is negative along with a negative sign. It is going to show me the same number in red color. And then for 0 and text, I would just keep this as general and general. And now when I click OK, seems to be a problem here. There are 2 semicolons. So let me remove this one. Now when I click OK, you can see instantly all these numbers have become red, and it's dynamic, which means that if I come here and if I change the sign to make it a negative number, it would automatically become a red. You can also change a couple of more things. So for example, let me go back here into custom, and let's say you don't want to show this in with a negative sign, you want to show this in parentheses, which is how a lot of people in accounting use it. Then you can also do that. Simply put the general option in parentheses. And now when I click OK, the negative numbers show up in red within parentheses. So you can easily play around with the format and also apply color. If you want to show these positive numbers in green color, you can also do that. Although I don't recommend it, let me quickly show you how it works. So here, before the format for the positive number, I would simply have green. And now when I click OK, you'll see that all these positive numbers have become green. Green, the color doesn't really look so good, but you can definitely try the negative numbers showing up in red technique. Here I have the revenue numbers for these companies, and what I want to do is instead of showing the entire value, I want to show these numbers in millions or billions. So I don't want to show the entire value. I want to show how many millions this is or how many billions this is. And you can easily do this with custom number formatting. So I would select this range of cells, hold the control key and press the 1 key. And in the format cells dialog box, click on custom option. Now here I would have to specify the format. So the format in this case would be, I would have a 0, and when I enter a 0, nothing changes. The exact same number is shown because 0 in custom number formatting terms represent the exact number in the cell, and it would represent any number of digits. So nothing changes, but see what happens now. Have a look at the last 3 digits of this number. So now when I hit comma, see what happens? I have 0 and then it's followed by a comma, and as soon as I do that, it shaves off the last 3 digits. And this is what a comma is going to do. It is going to only show you the number where the last 3 digits have been removed. And if rounding up is needed or rounding down is needed, then that would be done, which was not needed in this case. but this is only going to show me the number in thousands. I want these numbers in millions. So instead of 1 comma, I would have 2 commas. And as soon as I do this, it becomes 64243. So you can see that the last 6 digits have been removed, and 64242703377 has become 64243. Now I just don't want this number. I also want to show what value it is. So is it a million or a billion? Then you can have that value in double quotes. So here I would have M in double quotes. And now when I click OK, instantly all these numbers have now been converted into millions. The great thing again is if you select this cell, it would still have the same value that was there initially. So the value has not changed. Similarly, if you want to show these numbers in billions, again, go back here, and instead of 2 commas, we'll have 3 commas, and we'll change this from M to B, or maybe just have billion, the entire word. And now when I click OK, instantly it shows me these with the entire number. If you want to show these with decimal places as well, you can do that. So here I would come and I would say 0.00 and then the commas. So instead of showing me 64 billion, it shows me 64.24 billion or 2.02 billion. So this is how you can convert large numbers into denominations that are more meaningful, such as millions or billions. Here I have this list of tasks, and I want to add a check mark before each of these tasks. So in this case, I'm showing you how to do this with check mark, but you can do it with any symbol. It could be a bullet point, it could be any other symbol, or even specific text string. So if you want to add a prefix to all of these tasks or a text after every task, then you can do that as well. Now in this case, you can easily get the check mark. Just Google it, and whenever you find a check mark, just copy it and paste it in Excel, or you can go to the insert option, and here in symbols, you'll find the check mark that you can insert. So I'll copy this check mark, and I want the check mark before each of these cells value. So I would hold the control key, press the 1 key, and then go to custom. Now in this case, because my data type is text, I need to first show the text data type. So I would have the check mark here, and then I need to show the text value that is here. So to do that, I would have the check mark, and then I would, after a space character, have the @ sign. And the @ sign represents the text string in a cell in Excel. So when I specify my format where I want the text string as @, I want this string to follow the check mark. So now when I click OK, instantly it applies this check mark and the space character before the text that I already had in the cells. The good thing about this method is, let me press Ctrl Z to get the original text. Let's say I select multiple cells and I apply the same format there. So I hold the control key, press the 1 key, go to custom, and here I would have the check mark, then space character, and then @. And now when I click OK, you can see that I have the same thing, check mark before these text string, but in a new cell. If I type anything and I hit enter, it is going to automatically insert this check mark. So if you want a specific symbol or a prefix before the text content in your cells, then you can use this technique. Again, the great thing is that if you select a cell, you'll see that the cell content has not changed. You can also use a prefix the same way. So instead of a check mark, let's say I want to show completed in front of all of these tasks, then I can do that. I hold the control key, press the 1 key, and in this format, instead of the check mark, I can type the word completed in double quotes. And as soon as I do that, and let me also add hyphen and click OK, see what happens. I have completed show up before each of these tasks. So here, if I have any tasks, let's say the task is call the manager, it will automatically add completed before the task. So in case you want to quickly add a symbol before the text string or any prefix or suffix, then you can easily do this using custom number formatting. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.